Hi Lorna, how are you? Hi Manpreet, how are you? Hi Ames. Hi Pradeep. How is everyone? I had lots of messages from people last night saying that they also have quite bad hay fever. I think yesterday, last night, I don't know, a different kind of pollen might have been like at its peak or something. But yeah, my eyes are extra puffy and I've covered them up as much as I can with makeup. But I'm really excited today to be joined by Deepa. So Deepa is my yoga instructor, and she is just a really special soul. I know if you've had the pleasure of meeting Deepa, you will know exactly what I'm talking about. She just has this magical energy. It's so contagious, and she's just beautiful, and her story is quite an amazing one. She she always knew she had a calling for yoga, but she had many hurdles in reaching her true passion and her true calling, and her story is remarkable and it is so beautiful and it really shines through in what she does. I'm really missing Deepa at the moment, so I was having one-to-one sessions with her. Breatham and I were at 5:30 in the morning. I know we're crazy, but it was so lovely because it's just so peaceful. And yeah, so she's offering Zoom sessions at the moment, which I joined yesterday, and it was really lovely. So if you are interested, do get in touch. I'm gonna invite Deepa in now, and hopefully the internet will be good. Because I've had a few issues. Hi, how are you, Deepa?
Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. I can hear your hay fever flaring up.
Oh gosh, I know. It's just, it's so annoying because obviously it's always in the kind of warmer months, so you can't even properly enjoy being outdoors. It's just annoying, but it's fine. I'll plow through it. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. I'm actually sitting
Yeah.
in a chair and I feel so business like I'm gonna just come into a cross-legged. Uh, I can't.
Get into. I'm sitting cross-legged.
Even when I go to restaurants, I take off my shoes, cross my legs, and Soup looks at me. He's like, "What's wrong with you?" Like,
People do the same thing. I've done that before, and Preetham's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm good. Like, I'm comfortable. Don't worry." This is the most comfortable way to sit for sure.
that's the
So Deepa, I've just briefly introduced you, but it would be really nice for people to hear your story about how you found your true calling and how, you know, you kind of worked your way into doing what you're doing right now. So it'll be really lovely to hear a little bit about that, because your story is remarkable. It's so inspirational, and I really feel like it shines through in what you do. I mean, it isn't just about the yoga, it's about your passion for what you do as well. And it really, really shines through when you have not only the in-person sessions, but also on Zoom. I can feel it. Your energy is just amazing. So it'll be really nice for people that don't know you to hear a little bit about your story.
well. If it's not obvious, I'm from New York. I moved here 8.5 years ago. Marriage brought me over. But before we even go, before I even go into moving here and living here, I fell into yoga. I ended up at this ashram in my late teens. I was like 17, 18 to do yoga. And my mom sort of was into it, not into it, but it was brought about since I was like 13, 14.
Oh, quite young.
Exactly. And I went to this ashram, and they're men with orange clothes, long hair, beard, very traditional, but they weren't Asian men. They were Gore.
Yeah.
And the way they taught yoga, like pouring, water through the nose and it's coming out through the mouth, and it's weird, it's freaky for a teenager, but I was fascinated. And then they would explain, like, these are the benefits, and each pose was like, if you do a twist, this is what's happening. And then At that time, yoga studios were not that big. So I kept going consistently. And through that process, I became a vegetarian. I was mindful of the moon cycle. And my family started noticing that I became a little more distant. Not distant as in I stopped talking to them, distant as in what's normal for them, I wasn't participating in. For example, if my mom made lamb, it's like, oh, I don't want lamb. Is there a dal? And they'll look at me like, why is she asking for dal? Like, what's wrong with this girl? Um, and that worried them. That scared them a little bit. They thought I was a part of a cult or something.
Yeah.
And they did everything. It was 6 against 1, where everybody just, have some egg, have some this, have some that. And I was focusing on smoothies, and I was focusing on healthier options. But for them, it was me rebelling against it.
Yeah.
So I went back to their ways, and I felt like I was wrong, because eventually you just feel like, okay, maybe I'm the weirdo. In and out of yoga, still did yoga once a week or twice a week, tried to practice on my own every now and then, but secretively. So it's not like, I was doing something wrong or something that's really bad. I was doing yoga on the DL.
Yeah, you just didn't feel like you could kind of be you.
No. And already then I felt like, is something wrong with me? Like, why am I so attracted to this? And then fast forward a little bit, graduated high school, and I told my dad during the summer holiday, Dad, I'm off for 3 months. I just need a little bit of money. I don't know, like $1,000 or something. I want to do my yoga teacher training. And he's like, no, mm-mm. Until you don't get your degree, there's no way you can even consider that.
Yeah.
In fact, do it at your husband's house. When you get married, you do this there. There's no room for this stuff. Fine, just went with the flow, went along, dabbled into yoga here and there. And then finally, a few years later, I graduated college and, well, university, you guys call it here. Graduated university and got a wonderful finance job, and everything went belly up in the States. Like Lehman Brothers went belly up, like all the financial firms, and I was made, as you guys call it, redundant. I ended up at this holistic center doing marketing for them. And this holistic center, when I started working there, the doctor was seeing about 200 patients a week. By the time I left, he was seeing over 500 patients a week.
Wow.
And it was, the best job I've ever had in my life. So many patients would come and go. I built so many relationships. Till this day, I'm in touch with many of them. And this man walked in, Tom Monahan, tall American guy, very like Bush, very American. He used to be an air traffic controller. And he sat on his chair like I'm sitting on now at work, fell, cracked his spine, and ended up having hardware in his spine, and just struggled. Like it went downward hill for him. Him and I hit it off. Like every time we spoke, it was just amazing. And he introduced me to his wife. They're in their mid-50s, amazing couple, and they didn't have children. And they were like, if we had a daughter, we wish she was like you.
Oh.
And they noticed that I often talked about yoga, and I would encourage him, go do yoga, go to a yoga studio, you'll feel better, the benefits of yoga. And I would preach it like as if, that's all I did.
Yeah.
Finally, Wendy's like, you always talk about yoga. Have you considered, going for your training? We'd love to come to you and learn yoga from you. And I was like, nah. And I told him like how my family was so resistant, and it just did not work out. I met them during the summer. Christmas, they invited me over to their house, and they were like, would love, because it's just the two of us, and sometimes Wendy's dad coming over for Christmas. It'll be nice if you can come over and join us for a
Yeah.
Christmas meal. I was like, yeah, like my family, they didn't do a traditional Christmas meal. We didn't even have a Christmas tree in the house. So I went over and we're chit-chatting. Wendy made the most amazing Christmas meal. It was just heavenly. And in all my life, living in New York, that was the first traditional Christmas meal I had. Towards the end of it, Tom's like, so normally we exchange gifts, and Wendy and I are really fond of you, and we feel this odd connection you have with yoga, and as a Christmas gift, we'd like to pay for your training. And it's like, I'm sitting there like the people that raised me don't understand my connection, don't understand how I feel towards yoga. But these good people that I've met for like 4, 5, 6 months understand my connection with yoga. Like, do I even understand my connection with yoga the way they're like, sometimes I'm looking around like, are there cameras here? Like, what's going on here? It felt so surreal. I went home and I told my parents, like, this is my Christmas gift. Like, Tom and Wendy want to pay for my training. They were happy, but they were weirded out because we people don't do that stuff. Like, it doesn't happen. And so they paid for my training. I looked into schools, and Wendy was right with me. She's like, you choose 3, and then we'll sit down and go through each one, and we'll decide what school's the best one for you. And we chose Home Sweet Home in Port Washington, New York. I did my training, and they were my first one-to-one clients.
That is honestly so beautiful that people, it's like what you're saying, the people that are closest to you or living with you or giving birth to you. And I know loads of people experience this and they can't quite see you for you or what your calling is because of everything that's going on around or the way we've been conditioned. Yet these complete strangers instantly saw in you what you've always felt about yourself. It's amazing. That always gives me goosebumps, that bit. Just the way Tom and Wendy came into your life and the fact that you even went and worked in this holistic company in finance, but it kind of aligned to what your overall goal was is amazing.
The way it all felt, like, till this day, I cannot fathom that this is how my teacher training came about. Like, is it a fluke? Is it divine? Is it? I know it's universal energy at its max. Like, not
Yeah,
telling me, like, pushing me in that direction. Like, Tom and Wendy were my angels. Like, Deepa, this is your path. Come on, let's do this.
amazing. So after you done your training, how long after did you get married and move to
So
London?
literally, I graduated May 2011. I taught from May till August, a week before my wedding. I was teaching at a yoga studio, and I flew out here. So I got to establish a little bit of myself over there teaching, mostly one-to-ones. That's always been my thing. But I was teaching 2 group sessions there, mostly restorative yoga. And again, it's all about the healing that I'm attracted to.
Mm.
But I did not do my teacher training just to stop there, although I respect all yoga instructors that just did their 200-hour.
Oh, you frozen?
Is that better?
You just froze there, Deepa. I don't know if it's mine or if it's yours. Yeah, go on. I can see you now. Yeah.
What did you last hear?
That you respect all yoga teachers that do their teacher training.
That do their
Yeah.
200-hour RYT, that, and they're flourishing. They're doing what they need to do. But I only became a 200 RYT because it's the prerequisite to yoga therapy. So I moved to London and I started teaching. with Open Age, anywhere and everywhere I could, through friends, going to their houses, teaching them. Every opportunity I get till this day, even when Suk's friends come over, I'm like, all right, we're not having lunch just yet. We're going to do a quick yoga session. And it's just like, you know, Suk looks at me and I'm like, any chance I get, I'm going to teach. I'm going to preach. So when I moved here, I looked into the yoga therapy course. It was with Yoga Campus, but I had to teach for 2 years before they even consider me for an interview. So I did that. Like, I've got a full-time job. I landed here in September. October, I started working for this Jewish accountant, and I left him in January. So 8 years I worked for this, just over 8 years I worked for this man. And working for him full-time, teaching yoga on the side, getting the yoga therapy, just the interview, I was like, yes, I finally made it. Did the training. The training was 2.5 years. Now, in those 2.5 years, I lived in a joint family, working full-time, and I got pregnant. And the training required clinics, seeing patients, case studies. It was intense. When I felt pregnant, a part of me felt like I should take a break and stop. And then another part of me is like, how many stops am I going to take? How many breaks am I going to take? It's always been one hiccup or another.
Yeah.
And my driving force was, if those two, Tom and Wendy, can see my passion, why can't I wake up and smell the coffee? So part of me is like, if they're so invested in me, I need to remember that.
Yeah.
This is my calling. Like, I'm pregnant, so what? Am I sick? No. The brain's still functioning, I'm still breathing, and I went. I got bigger, and I kept showing up to my trainings. And the therapist, the teachers there were so understanding. But my biggest fear is, okay, Nirvana's going to be born in August. I don't graduate till February.
So what happens?
What do I do?
Yeah.
The teacher told me, she's like, you know what? The universe will provide you angels. And it, again, took me back to Tom and Wendy. I'm at the tail end of my pregnancy. Nirvana was born the month we're off, August. So luckily, when she was born, I did not have to worry about attending a training or a course or a clinic. I got 3 weeks just with her. And in those 3 weeks, I think I asked every person on the street, do you mind looking after my baby? And my mom is like, why don't you take a year off? Focus on your child. Because, you know, she's a newborn. And I'm like, she needs milk and a diaper change. And she sleeps like 20 hours a day. If someone can't take care of her now, they're not going to run after a 1-year-old.
Yeah. It's true.
Lo and behold, my chachi told me, she's like, don't worry, Deepa, you're stuck. I'll look after her. My sister-in-law, my husband's sister, she took Nirvana 1 week, and then the trainings were Friday, Saturday, Sunday, from morning to evening. So I was gone. And I wanted to breastfeed. So I'm in the class pumping milk, sitting all the way in the back, and they were so good about it. Running around with my books and breast milk and my pump. But yeah, so then Suk helped out whenever he could. Avi helped out whenever she could. And my chachi, my saving grace. I had to pack my bags every week, every other week, spend the weekend with them, pump milk at 6 a.m., leave the house at 7, go to my training. The first training after Nirvana was born, I wanted to jump off the train and thought, how selfish can I be to leave my newborn daughter? Because I want to do my yoga therapy training. And I'm standing right in front of the door. The doors are closing, and I'm thinking I could still run out. I could still run out till they shut. And I'm so glad I didn't run.
She is an absolute angel. That girl. Oh my gosh. So I've had the pleasure of meeting Nirvana, and wow, I've never met a little girl like her before. She's just got this. She is your daughter.
Till now.
And then some. She's amazing.
Yeah, she's got a lot of sass, and I'm like, I don't know where she gets it from, but my New York friends and family, they're like, you don't know where she gets it from? She's a mini you.
She's just got a very angelic vibe about her. And maybe your pregnancy and what you were doing during your pregnancy and those early days all kind of are a big part of her as well.
Yes.
So there's no, I don't look at her and think, oh, you were left. I can tell you were left, when you were
Like
newborn. So
a child.
she looks like, yeah, she looks like she's had everything that she could have, but she's full of love. She's amazing. But so your judgy and your sister-in-law, again, it's people outside of your immediate kind of, not they are immediate, but you know what I mean, the
Yeah,
people that you
they're
would
still a
think you
step
can,
away.
yes, yeah, and it's, even though sometimes these situations can be tough because you realize, oh my God, I thought you'd be there for me, like, why are you making this so hard? Actually, God just somehow sends these angels to guide you. So where you're lacking a support and love in one place, it'll come in abundance from another space. It's amazing, isn't it? And you can either choose to focus on, I'm going to become bitter because XYZ person hasn't supported me, or you can think, wow, I'm so loved and so supported and I'm so fortunate and grateful. And that's what you did. And you went and achieved your dreams. And the fact that you've now left your job to do this full time, and what a story. I really feel like your story, I felt this instant connection with you anyway. Like there's something very beautiful about you anyway. But when I heard your story for the first time, I was just like, wow, this isn't just about the yoga. Like there's loads of kind of yoga instructors out there. It's not, and they're all great in their own way, but it was, this woman has faced so many hurdles and challenges, and she has made this happen because it's a part of her. And like I said, it really shines through in what you do, like your passion, your love. It's just amazing. It's just incredible. And honestly, your children one day will look up to you if they don't already and think, wow, my mum did all of that. She managed to go through all of that to get to where she is. And I think it's such an inspiration for me, for other women that follow this platform, for women in general, to see that, you know what, if there's a true calling and there's something pulling you towards something, even if there's a few setbacks, or there might be hurdles, or there's fear, or there's or you're getting resistance from people that you really love and trust, sometimes you've got to listen to yourself and just
Charge
do it. Charge through it and look for those angels. Those angels fell in your lap. I can resonate to some of this with since we've had Sergeant and the support that's come. And it's like, wow, where did you come from? Dina's on this call, she's one of them. It's just amazing. Like you go through some, it's true what Lorna's saying, passion and perseverance. You've made it happen. You've done it, and it's so inspiring and incredible. I don't have the right words to describe it. There's not enough kind of, but it's amazing, Deepa. And
It's like
honestly,
I
like
was coming out of the womb and the tunnel won't end.
rebirth.
But
Yeah.
now I'm on the other side. And can you believe my 4 and 5-year-olds are like, Mom, are you teaching yoga today? No, not today. Oh, but people need yoga. And I'm like,
Oh,
like Nirvana Sean, you two need yoga before you point your finger at other people.
oh my gosh, it's amazing. So with with yoga, especially during the pandemic, what are it's not only the pandemic, actually, it's day to day. So I started yoga before this all started, just because life felt crazy busy. It just feels really tense, and I don't help myself, I've always got things going on, but I think loads of people can relate to that. There's always something happening. First of all, how can stress affect our physical, emotional and mental well-being? Like how can that affect our bodies and our...
So I'm just going to give a tad bit of science. Bear with me. So we've got different nervous systems. We've got the parasympathetic nervous system and the sympathetic nervous system. Parasympathetic is when you're sleeping, you're meditating, you're praying, you're in a restful mode, and that's where healing happens. That's where the magic happens. And that's where everything sort of revives and rejuvenates. Then you have the sympathetic nervous system, where it's your fight or flight, which is so important because it protects you from a dangerous situation. But life has become such where even when our phone pings, we shift into our sympathetic nervous system. We are anxious to see what message came through, what happened. And if the phone keeps pinging, I watched a study on this, the phone, like our adrenaline starts to kick in. Like, I need to look at my phone. Like,
Yeah.
we become attached. So when you're practicing yoga or Tai Chi for that matter, you're coming out of your stressful state and you're going into a state of ease. Now, stress, first of all, it can age you significantly. It slows down your nervous system, so you get sick a lot. And just generally, you're cranky, your body starts to ache. The body knows to survive, and it will do anything and everything. It will take energy from your lower body into your upper body. It'll take energy from your upper body to your lower body, just so you can function. But when you lie down at night, all the aches and pains kick in. When you're in a restful state, especially when we're praying, we get tired, we get sleepy, all the aches and pains kick in. And this is why, like, when I teach yoga, it's not just about yoga, it's how to apply it on a day-to-day basis. You know, it's being practical. Someone's investing an hour with me. First of all, thank you. Second of all, what can I do to make sure that hour becomes a daily practice? That daily practice becomes a lifestyle. I don't know if I'm going to get one session with you. I don't know if I'm going to get a year with you. But all I want to know that when you walk away from me, Deepa always talks about breathing. Let me take
That's the main thing I've taken from you is literally, if I'm like, you know, it's like, stop, remember to breathe. Just remember to breathe. That's my biggest kind of, which really helps to just slow things down and to just follow your breath, and it just kind of gives you almost a moment in your brain. It creates a little bit of space in your brain as well to just, that's the biggest thing I've taken from you.
I mean, stress, we don't make the right decisions. First of all, we don't breathe properly when we're in a stressful situation. And when they're done with the session, they're like, I feel so much, because you breathed. That's all. The amount of people that I come across, when they're inhaling, their belly's going in. And I'm like, wait a second, you're supposed to be inhaling. The belly's supposed to be coming out. You know, a lot of people, the breath doesn't even get to the belly. It's just their chest. And when you're a chest breather, you will suffer from anxiety.
It's really interesting. It's such a simple kind of, it's such a obvious kind of thing that we all forget, especially in this day and age where we're just so busy frantically trying to do whatever it is we're doing. And you know, Nuri's on this call as well, and one thing that I love about you as well is like your connection to nature. Just kind of, I feel really calm when I look at her page, and it's almost, it goes kind of hand in hand with the breathing, just almost, you know, just.
Nuri's a huge advocate of breathing. Like,
Yeah,
I've been practicing yoga with her. It's just, she's so into it.
yeah, I love it. It's so important, and I think doing more of this stuff. I'm so gutted that this whole COVID thing has happened, and because we were really enjoying, you know, that one-to-one time in the morning, and you know, Breatham's quite a busybody, as you know, as well as am I. Lots of stuff flying around in our heads, and that hour is just my favorite hour of the whole week because it's just so tranquil, so peaceful. I mean, it's not my favorite thing to wake up that early in the morning, but I don't kind of snooze the alarm bar. I'm literally like, get up, like, let's do this kind of thing. You know, I just look forward to that hour of peace and just stillness and quietness and just, I don't know what it is. I can't really describe it, but it's just, it's beautiful. And I kind of need you to move in with me to do it like daily.
Really and truly, before I left my job, it was yoga that got me through. I was working a full-time job. I was seeing many private clients plus teaching group sessions. So my day
Yeah.
was starting anywhere between 4:30 in the morning. And I would not hit the sack till like 11, 12 o'clock.
Wow.
Did it for about 5, 6 months. I was running on fumes by January. But at the same time, it didn't hit me that I was so overly exerted because of
Yeah.
it.
Because it kept you just kind of balanced. Amrit's made a really nice point as well. Breathwork helps widen the gap between a stressful situation and your reaction. That's something I definitely need to do more of. But it's so true. Just taking a moment and just breathing kind of
1 minute
stabilizes.
a day. If you could give yourself 1 minute a day just to fully breathe, I mean, feel the belly come out. Inhale, exaggerate your breath because everything's a muscle, right? You can retrain it, recondition it, rewire it, and we're constantly generating new cells. So why not generate cells that will serve you and be of purpose, where otherwise
Yeah.
that cell can produce into something else. And I don't want to use the C word, but you know what I mean. But
Yeah, yeah. Well,
it,
it's true. Apparently, stress is what kind of triggers those, isn't it? Those cells in our body. So it is really important. And I'm a massive kind of believer in that. That, I can feel my body just working against me when I'm stressed. It doesn't want to, it's kind of resisting me. So it kind of feels like me against my body. And I can feel when I'm just kind of a little bit more relaxed and in that hour especially I just feel so. And it's actually the most beautiful thing is actually you speak about going inside and honing in on inside, and it's so crazy, and when you say it, it's like this is so obvious, but because I don't have that moment to just stop and think, I don't even think to just look internally and to just really. I did yoga a few years ago actually, and with a girl called Sim, and at that time life wasn't so crazy busy, and I felt like when you're like I don't know what the right word is, when you're like honing on your toes or whatever, can you connect with your toes? I used to be able to do that, and now it's just like my brain is so busy that I was struggling to even half feel your can you kind of connect with your fingertips, and I'm like, no, I can't. Is there something wrong with me? Why am I not able to, like there's such a massive disconnect. And I hadn't realized that that was what I was doing to myself, that I was just becoming so disconnected because it's just so busy. So it's I'm really pleased that we Lorna said speak about your problems. My favorite line.
please share that with me. I'm
Deepa,
like, of all the things.
my favorite thing. I love your accent, but and it's true. Stress manifests into physical pain and physical ailments and things like that. So it is really important that we look after ourselves. And I think, given the fact, so for me, with your practice, what's so brilliant is that you come to my house. I have no excuses. I have no kind of get out of this clause, because you're literally at my doorstep. I'm like, God, I've got to get up because she's here and I'm going to do this. And that for me is something that really works. And I think for busy mums, busy parents, busy people, it doesn't, you don't have to be a mum or a parent, busy people, it's so important that that service is there, and you're spreading your wisdom and your talent and your gift to everybody, by offering that. And at the same time you've got two children and a family, and the day-to-day things that you're going through. So it's such an incredible gift that you've got, that you're sharing. But so we've spoken about how stress can affect and on a day-to-day, especially in this day and age. How can yoga help with all of that? How I've obviously given how it helps me, but in your kind of experience, and from other clients as well, and from your own personal experience, how does it help you? What do you achieve from it?
So yoga, and again, yoga has been around for so long. It's not new. It's not something I've created. It's just my understanding. So all this information just funneling through my head and
Yeah.
bring it to you guys. So my understanding of yoga is that we're constantly judging, you know, we're in that phase of good, bad, light, dark, yes, no. There's such a divide, so much black and white, where that, if first of all, if we stop attaching ourselves to things
Yeah.
and bring neutrality to the duality, you're a different person. You calm down, you slow down, and your frequency changes. We're vibrational beings. So this chair is vibrating at a certain frequency. I am vibrating at a certain frequency. You are. Why did you feel attracted towards me, and why did I feel attracted towards you? Because we're vibrating at a certain frequency. We can't attract every single person out there because we're just vibrating at a different frequency. So the moral
Yeah.
of the story is that if we fine-tune ourselves through breath work, everything slows down and calms down internally. Why do turtles live so long? Because they move so slow. We are allocated X amount of breaths in one lifetime. And I keep saying, breathe slowly, lengthen your breath, and deepen your breath if you want to live a healthy, long life.
It's so true. You say these things that like really hit home. They're so obvious. Like we only have X amount of breaths in this lifetime. It's all kind of it's true. Like so was I, Cam. I was just doing a little bit of breathing too. She always reminds me to do it. But it's so true. And you've also mentioned in our sessions, which I never really knew before. You know, when we do yoga and then we do the meditation at the end. And I think the first session you were like, the reason we do all this yoga is to prepare you for meditation, is so that you're completely relaxed. There's no twinges, no twitches. And oh my God, it was so, I really noticed it. I was like, wow, I actually feel, I'm not thinking, oh, my back's really hurting, or oh, I feel so uncomfortable. I'm literally, my body's really relaxed and neutral and kind of aligned. It all feels kind of, don't know what the right word is, but it kind of feels just right. And I can focus on those few moments that we're meditating. So I didn't know that. I don't know why I didn't know that. I don't know if that's like a common known
That
thing, but I
is,
didn't know yoga was to prepare you for your meditative
meditation.
state.
That is
Yeah.
yoga. Meditation is yoga. That's where it happens. The connection, the union of the mind, body, and soul. So
Yeah.
asanas, according to Patanjali Yoga Sutras, he's only done 3 sutras on asana. But the Western world has taken asana and poses to a whole new level, which hats off to them. They could do it. Good for you. But in the midst of all of that, the breath work is lost. The meaning of yoga is lost because we're so busy trying to contort our body.
Yeah.
We need to be fit enough, healthy enough, so that we can sit and not let our ego mind tell us, oh, you're feeling itchy. Let me quickly itch and then go back to the meditation. Oh, what am I going to prepare for breakfast? You know, this muscle of ours is like a wild horse. You need to be fit enough to tame that wild horse. Have you ever seen, you wouldn't even want to deal with a wild horse. That's how intense and strong they are.
Mm.
If
Yeah, that's a pretty accurate description of my mind, actually.
it runs wild.
Yeah.
So it's not about taming the horse. It's about being physically capable enough to face it, first of all. Then
Yeah.
worry about taming it.
Yeah, and I think even when we do the meditation at the end of our session, sometimes you know, you'll recognize that obviously different thoughts flow in, like, oh my God, have I packed Arjun's school bag? Or oh my God, what am I going to make for breakfast? What am I going to make for dinner? You know, all the typical things that we kind of think of day to day, breathe them. So we're thinking, oh my God, I need to do this for my business or whatever, right? But and it's important to recognize those and like you described, see them as floating clouds, just rise above the cloud, just let it pass. You don't need to feed into every thought or give it too much attention in that state. Just accept it and let it pass. And it's such a good way. I love clouds, so I really connected to that. Just, you know, being able to distinguish, you know, and one thing that I've noticed about myself since I started yoga is just pausing. Sometimes just literally pausing. Even if I don't always get to do, you know, the physical yoga practice on a day to day, I will make sure that I'm kind of, when I'm getting into a bit of a, I'll do this thing where I'm like, I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do it all now, right now. And that's the wild horse going crazy. And it's just like, no, you don't. Just breathe, calm down, and just calm down. Like nothing's gonna, no one's gonna die, nothing's gonna happen if you don't do the vacuum or you don't, you know, just breathe and just calm down. And I think that in itself, literally remembering to breathe, has had quite a massive impact. For example, when I wasn't very well a few weeks ago, you know, normally I'd be like, oh my God, the house is going to be such a mess. And I did say it a couple of times, you know, I was like, it's okay, like, it's fine. So what if it's a mess? Breatham's managed the kids beautifully. He has fed me so well. He's been so caring. Who cares if it's a mess? Like, chill out. And that I was really mindful of what I was doing. I used that time to do some Simran as well, and you know, do breathing with Simran and things like that. And it just made me really think about how little control sometimes I have of that wild horse, because I'm so lost and I'm forgetting to do the very basic thing of just breathing and just pausing.
Our,
So I think it's very powerful.
our breath, I'm sorry, it's just, I don't want to preach God or religion. I'm not about that, but we all have our belief system and I respect that. But our breath is connected to the ultimate source. Whether
Yeah.
anyone wants to believe that or not, you don't believe that, I'm telling you, we never do in yoga. But if you do believe in a higher power or in a greater source, that's our breath is that greater source.
Yeah.
Just breathing deeply whilst doing non-simran. It's just heaven. And you achieve more that day. You conquer more that day without even breaking a sweat.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Chin's just joined us actually, and she's somebody that's you know, really into meditation and things as well. And I've seen her growth as well. And it is amazing when you look around you and I have all these role models around me, and I'm like, it's literally that. It's breathing and yoga and stuff like that is literally the key. It's so, I think sometimes people think, oh no, that's not going to make that much of a difference because it doesn't get rid of my to-do list. But it's not about getting rid of the to-do list. It's about the way in which you approach it, and about the way in which, you know, if you're in a bit of a crazy state and you're stressed and you're trying to deal with everything, and you know, you're in this hyper kind of state, which I often am. It's not going to be as productive as if you just learn to master to be a little bit more in control of your own body and your kind of, you know, your own mind. So I think that's where the connection came for me, because before I was just like, oh no, you know, yoga's not going to fix me. Like I can't, I've got too many things to do as it is. I don't need another thing. But actually no, it's there to help you deal with everything that's already there. It's not meant to be, it's not meant to magic everything away. It's there to help the way in which you approach things and deal with things, and how you, yeah, and it's been amazing. A few people have asked about your sessions. So Deepa is currently obviously not doing the one-to-one in-person sessions because of COVID, but she is offering Zoom sessions, and it's what, 3 times a week, 3 times a day on those days, right? So 9 sessions twice
No,
a day. Is it twice a
6
day?
sessions, twice a day, yeah.
Yeah. So there's loads of sessions. There's 6 sessions to choose from. For me, the early morning one works better just because I really connect. I feel more connected at Amrit
That
Vela, the early morning. Yeah, I just feel more tranquil and peaceful. I mean, for me, otherwise the boys would be running in and out in the afternoon. But yeah, so if you are interested, I would really, really highly recommend them. They're brilliant. And after COVID is over, if you have the opportunity to, I would highly recommend the one-to-one classes. She's tiny, but bloody hell when she sits on you, does it? it's brilliant. And Breatham was so not into this stuff before, but I think Deepa, he probably enjoys it even more than I do, doesn't he? He's just
I'm
so,
telling you, you both are just amazing in your practice. And I really admire the fact that you both come together and practice yoga together. Because I practice yoga with my husband. He's popped onto the Zoom sessions with me a few times, and it's magical. Even for couples, I recommend it. A number of couples have done yoga with me, and they feel this wonderful connection with each other. So keep
yeah, I think it's just something really nice for you to do together if your partner's up for it. You know, it's just beautiful. The in-person sessions are really, really amazing too, but I joined Zoom yesterday and even that was beautiful. Just, it was really nice. So I would highly, highly recommend it. If you have any other questions for Deepa, just add them here, or you can follow Deepa's page at Deepa for Yoga. And I only recommend businesses that I've used or that I have first-hand experience of, and I can hand on heart say that this is one of the best investments that Wisdom and I have made. It's honestly made it's just something different and so new and refreshing for us. So thank you so much, Deepa, and thank you for sharing your amazing story, your journey. It's inspirational. You are just you're so incredible, and honestly, keep doing what you're doing and just spreading the love. And yeah, thank you.
same to you. I mean, if it wasn't for you, like I've got a couple of my dear girls, Morna, Emrit, Rupinder, they pushing me like, Deepa, do a live, let people get to know you. And I'm like, yeah, there's not much that people need to know about.
My
I'm
God.
so shy and hesitant, but thank you for this opportunity. It means a lot.
No, your story is, you know, this page is all about mums that might have struggled, or, you know, from where I first started this page, it was about, you know, being in a deep funk and kind of feeling a bit lost. And your story is exactly the type of story that people need to hear, to see that you haven't had it easy. You didn't just wake up one morning and think, I'm going to start teaching yoga. That's not your story.
Some
Your
days
story
I
is
wish.
so much deeper. Yeah, I'm sure you think, I wish I could have just, you know, woken up and just got on with it. No, you probably wouldn't have been the yoga teacher that you are today if it wasn't for your journey. And yes, exactly, Chin. Amrit, thank you so much for introducing us to Deepa, because I think she's touched all of our lives, as have you, Amrit, with your beautiful wisdom. And I can see Amrit's very much in sync with, you know, how you are. She's just so, I always say to him, like, how are you so chilled and just so calm? And you know, your approach is just so beautiful, and I can see you guys are so similar in that manner, and I'm sure your practice has had massive benefits for her as well. So thank you. I agree, Lorna, it's her passion. It's so clear to see, and it shines through her work. I'm just going to quickly
Lord, I keep
look. So
feeling
yeah.
it. Passion will ooze through.
Her food is just so yummy, isn't it? I'm craving some of that chart. But thank you guys so much for joining, and
So much
I
for
will see you
tuning in.
soon. Thank you, Deepa. Take care. Have a good day. Bye.
Bye,
I'm
Amrit.
back at
Love you. Bye, Chinto. Bye,
you.
Lorna.